Ratatouille spells ratatouille. This is the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, the podcast about people who love to eat and cook healthy. This is your guide to the world of healthy cooking and conversations about happy diabetic living and lifestyles, where we simply turn ordinary ingredients into something extraordinary. Welcome to the kitchen, and let's get cooking. Hello everyone, I am Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic, and this is the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. I'm here in the kitchen getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to share and take the mystery out of healthy cooking, explore some amazing foods and my diabetic journey with all my successes and my challenges. So, let me help you live your best happy diabetic lifestyle. So welcome to the kitchen, and if this is your first time and you're new to the show, I am so happy you're here. Today with me in the kitchen, as always, is my son Jason, engineer, producer of the podcast. Good afternoon, Jace.
Hey, Dad. How's it going?
Really great. How are you?
I'm pretty good myself. How are you?
Really good. So, Jason, fall is in the air. So, it's October. When you think about the fall, what do you think about?
Leaves, products releasing pumpkin-flavored versions. How about you?
The Bears winning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We love that around here, right? We love the
If
Bears.
only that were a tradition.
I know, that's true. I like the fire pit in the backyard. I like, the leaves changing colors and all of the amazing fall vegetables that happen at this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of brings us to the topic of fall vegetables and what to do with fall vegetables. And I think ratatouille is one of the most amazing, simple dishes, yet so full of flavor that you could possibly make. So we did some research on this recipe, been working on it now, and last night the grandkids were over, and so we actually made ratatouille with everybody. We used a slicer and a mandolin, and it actually came out really, really great. And today we're going to celebrate all things ratatouille. Not only ratatouille, but Disney-style ratatouille, inspired by Chef Thomas Keller from the French Laundry and many other restaurants all across the nation. For those that don't know, and if you've never watched the Disney movie Ratatouille, the Disney Pixar movie Ratatouille, it was consulted by Thomas Keller, and I believe the recipe that the rat at the end of the movie makes is inspired by Thomas Keller. It's a very kicked up, very cool recipe. And we're going to post pictures on my website, and you'll see how the grandkids did with it. But it's super fun and super easy. And I just thought we'd talk about ratatouille and that presentation.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about where does it come from and how it's made. So if everyone's ready, let's get into it. Well, it's ratatouille season. So ratatouille is a classic end of summer French stew that's fun to say. I mean, come on, really. Ratatouille. Ratatouille. And it's also very fun to make. It's packed with fresh produce like tomatoes, eggplants, zucchini, yellow squash, bell peppers, garlic, oregano, basil. And this summer we tested some authentic French ratatouilles and came up with the one we liked best. And I like some of the ratatouilles more than others, so I vowed to come up with my own favorite take on the ratatouille recipe found in the movie Ratatouille. So today is the day to share. I'll also post the recipe on the blog at happydiabetic.com, and I'll also post a quick video of how we actually made it. So head over to the website, happydiabetic.com, for the recipe and the video. So ratatouille, a French provincial stewed vegetable dish originated in the town of Nice and sometimes referred to as ratatouille niçoise. So recipes and cooking times differ widely. Lots of controversy. I mean, ratatouille is kind of like that comfort food, that macaroni and cheese of the French, right? It was made by leftover vegetables, including things like tomato and onions and garlic, zucchinis, eggplants, bell peppers, and some combination of leafy green herbs common to the region. So in the French home, it was the staple. And because it's ratatouille season, we want to share with you some ideas and thoughts about exactly how to make it. So let's get into it. So in Provence, ratatouille is typically cooked on a stove. Each vegetable is cooked in olive oil until it's properly tender, and in the end, all the ingredients are combined and simmer to kind of meld in the flavors. Now, the French know how to cook, and this is a concept is definitely one to follow. So ratatouille combines a large volume of late summer vegetables that have different cook times. Now, if you've tried to throw them all into a pot at once, none of the vegetables would have a chance to really caramelize. Now, the eggplant would fall apart by the time the zucchini is tender, and the ratatouille would probably never meet its full potential of love. So the recipe that we've put together is a little bit different, and it is inspired by the movie. The method yields amazing ratatouille. Now, my wife says it's the best she's ever had. She's probably a little prejudiced. It's also easier to make than stovetop ratatouille since it requires less time standing over the stove. We're going to make it all in one container, bake it in the oven, cover with parchment paper, and it's going to be amazing. But before we get into that, in just a moment, we're getting into the 5 reasons to love ratatouille. So before we get into the 5 tips and reasons ratatouille is amazing, I thought I would come up with some cooking tips for you. This is my cooking tip number 109. Ignore cooking times. Check your dishes by using your own senses, smell, taste, and touch. That way, you'll be able to decide when they're done. And this ratatouille recipe is perfect for that because everyone's oven is a little different. You want to look at it, taste it, smell it, let your senses let you know when this dish is done. All right, so here we go, guys. Let's get in to the 5 reasons to love ratatouille. Here we go. Number 1, it's a great way to use up surplus of late summer vegetables. So, in other words, if you come home from the farmer's market with too much of anything, make ratatouille. Ratatouille turns basic vegetables into magic. That's my reason number 2. Even if you don't typically love eggplant or summer squash, I bet you'll enjoy this ratatouille. When we were making this at home last night, we talked about how it's almost got the flavors of pizza mixed with vegetables, which of course made the kids even more excited to try it. Now, I'm not sure they really liked it because it is vegetables and it's different, but they tried it, and that's all that counts. Okay, my third of the 5 reasons to love ratatouille. It's vegan, it's gluten-free for all to enjoy. Just choose your accompaniments accordingly. And then number 4, ratatouille is a great way to make recipes ahead. So it's a great make-ahead recipe. It tastes even better the next day and heats up beautifully. You can also freeze the extra ratatouille for later. So when we make it at our house, we'll make a big batch and freeze it. And number 5, make it a movie night and watch Disney's Ratatouille. That's what we did last night. We made Ratatouille, we had some other side dishes, and then after dinner we all came down and watched the movie Ratatouille because the fun part was at the end of the movie, the way I'm going to show you how to make it is exactly how Remy the Rat made Ratatouille for Vigo, the food critic.
Dad, Vigo is the name of the guy who played the king in The Lord of the Rings. The guy from Ratatouille was named Ego.
Oh, Okay, ego. Got it. Thanks for the clarification.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, so fresh tomatoes, part of the ratatouille ingredients, appear a couple different ways. So, they're really the key for making ratatouille that tastes fresh and lively and not dull and heavy. So, we're going to slice the tomatoes into rings, and they're all going to be layered together with the other vegetables. Now, you need tomato sauce. So, my hack for this dish, to make it simple and easy, buy yourself a jar of your favorite brand of tomato sauce and use that for the base layer. Now, if you want to make your own, buy a large 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, put it in a pan with some fresh garlic, oregano, and basil, a little olive oil, and cook it down, and that would also be very nice. There's also eggplant in this dish. An eggplant is really known for being difficult to prepare, but in this case, it's easy because there's no salting necessary. The oven takes care of everything. There's also zucchini and yellow squash. Now, I love the visual combination of green zucchini, yellow squash, tomatoes, and eggplants, sliced thin and layered, shingled. Now, it's amazing. Now, listen, I get it. If you're not a zucchini or yellow squash fan, you got to get over it because it's all part of this recipe. But if you're not an eggplant fan, you can get away without using eggplant. There's also olive oil in this dish. Extra virgin olive oil deserves its very own shout out. Now, we're only using a little bit as necessary in the mixture of the garlic, basil, oregano, and chopped parsley that you'll see in the recipe. You can also use grapeseed oil. You can also use canola oil. And I like to toss all those ingredients, and then that gets layered over the top of the vegetables before being put in the oven. When you watch the video, that will all make sense. I've got basil and seasonings. So fresh basil, dried basil, oregano, great seasonings, salt and pepper bring this dish to life. So let's talk about the recipe. Simple, easy, and delicious. So you need about 2 cups of tomato sauce. Like I said, store-bought. Now in the recipe that I'm going to list online at happydiabetic.com, I've got the roasted pepper sauce that they used in the movie. But for me, the tomato sauce was perfect. I need a medium zucchini, a medium yellow squash, 3 or 4 Roma tomatoes. And for my herbal seasoning, I got 2 or 3 tablespoons of canola oil or grapeseed oil or olive oil, 2 or 3 cloves of chopped garlic, and about half a tablespoon each of oregano and basil, and some fresh chopped parsley, a little salt and pepper. So it's simple and easy, a delicious dish that is so much fun to make. Go over to my website, happydiabetic.com, watch the video, look at the recipe. I'll post some pictures of what we did. I think you'll fall in love. And listen, head to the farmer's market for the zucchini, for the squash, for the eggplant, for the Roma tomatoes, for the fresh herbs and the chopped parsley. It's truly all about ordinary ingredients, turning it into something extraordinary. Post your pictures on my Facebook page, the Happy Diabetic Facebook page, and we would all love to see your amazing successes. So enjoy your ratatouille, and we'll be right back. So be sure to follow me on all my social links. You'll simply find them all at happydiabetic.com. Just look for all my links at the top right-hand side of the page. And hey, if you have a question for me, go to my website, hit the contact tab, you ask questions, I'll answer them, and who knows, they might even become part of the next show. Maybe I'll select your question and send you some cookbooks as a big thank you. Thank you for listening, and if you are loving what you hear in the kitchen, please leave a comment or feedback at Stitcher, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. Your thoughts and comments are very much appreciated. Thank you again. Our podcast is produced and engineered by Jason Lewis. Our theme music by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band. And of course, yours truly, Chef Robert on the guitar. And of course, our kitchen mascots, Scout and Tucker. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and let me leave you with this thought. Irma Brombeck once said, "Seize the moment." Remember, all those women on the Titanic who waved off the dessert cart. So long for now, and remember, no one loves you more than me.